And so, here we are at the grand review of the Ashbury AU15 Tenor Ukulele in mahogany. This is mahogany laminate. Okay, in the description you'll read mahogany backsides and yeah, it's veneer, that's mahogany. This is in the reflected in the price. Of course, you need to study this about the difference between laminate and solid, and it's the descriptions relating to it. It's a different topic. But this particular instrument that I got, and I'll come on to the price of it later, it is mahogany laminate, of course, and going over the body, it's fairly undecorated, so you don't have a rosette decoration, you don't really have binding, so you can even see the laminate there. You may be able to see it, the definition of it there, but it has a rather nice arch to it at the back, as you can see there, and also across. The neck is mahogany in 3 pieces, so you can see there's a join there, and there's a very obvious join here. The bridge is walnut and the fingerboard is walnut according to the description. The saddle is ABS, the very compressed, very dense grainless plastic, which is an old cheaper alternative to bone, isn't it? And as is the nut. We have here 18 frets, 14 to the body, fret markers here at 5, 7, 10, 2 at 12, 1 at 15, and they are of course repeated on the top there, which is actually what you're going to be looking at as a player, so that's probably more important. And this fingerboard is this fretboard is, and the frets themselves, is quite nice condition, and the fret ends are nicely dressed, so you're not having this scratching there as you slide your hand up and down it. It's quite nicely finished off. The saddle is it's uncompensated. It's a fairly standard tie bar bridge there. Looking inside it, the laminate is really quite thin, which does allow it to be quite resonant, for a laminate instrument. And also inside it's looking really quite neat and tidy, with notched curving inside there, which I'm led to understand that is more better quality. Sort of medium, sort of thick, sort of bracing in there, not as perhaps thin as I'd like it if I was being really critical. Going up the neck, lovely. It's all in satin finish, right? So you can feel the grain of the mahogany veneer there. Going up to this nut, this is a 34mm nut, which is kind of narrow for a tenor, I think, really, but it's fine for me, and it is a matter of preference, because spacing. If you have large hands, you're going to struggle with a narrow nut area, but the height of the strings over this nut is great. The action itself is perhaps a bit higher, but this is adjustable. You can find out about how to do that. This bone is removed and filed down. It's meant to be adjustable. I'm not going to bother with this. The action doesn't bother me. As a bass player, it's not anything too difficult for me. Now going up to the headstock, we've got this is capped with a veneer of mahogany, and the Ashbury logo is engraved into there, and it's rather sort of nice shaped headstock. I think the going to the tuners, they're unbranded open gear tuners, but they work fine. They're consistent with each other. There's no grinding or any of those kind of issues. And the little plastic buttons, they're quite small, which is a sort of more aesthetically in proportion with the instrument itself, so that's pleasing. Strings wise, they're Aquila Nougat strings. They're seen on so many instruments, so they'd have a sort of warmer tone than perhaps the fluorocarbons would have, but it's a matter of taste. I like both. This instrument happens to come with Aquilas. I'm happy enough with them. Now, what else to say about it? I'll go on to the price. This was £60, which is fairly cheap, really. You can see where, you know, it's a laminate instrument. If it was solid wood, you'd be looking at a few £100s, I suppose. You can see where they didn't really stay up too late at night to worry about sort of matching up where the two parts of the body meet there, the grain, and you know there's not a whole lot of decoration going on there. But I was trying out instruments that were around the £100 mark. The Kala K80 Tenor was one of them, and I chose this one, even though that was, you know, I was prepared to pay twice as much for ukulele. I actually went for this one because of the feel of it and the build quality of it. I'd rather do like this body shape as well, and so it suited me fine. So if you're really in that kind of region where you're in that sort of you want to spend 50 quid, you know, you look around a bit, check out Ashbury. You know, 50, this was 60 quid. They do make much more expensive instruments. They make guitars. Now they're from Hobgoblin. There's Hobgoblins about. There's one. This one's from Bristol. Hobgoblin. I think they're in Europe as well. And you know, you can go in there and you can get these online, but you know, it's on page 1, guys. You know, if you're serious about your instrument, about actually learning an instrument, you need to be playing it first rather than ordering it online. There's so many different variations going on and feel that you need to actually have a go at playing the instrument before buying it. It's very obvious. I'm not going to lecture you about it, why it's obvious. Right, so sound, you heard me picking it back there at the beginning. I don't have nails because yeah, other instruments that I play, but so you're not going to get that sort of crisp sound that you perhaps would from nails. So listening out for the picking sound. Quite effective when it's being picked because the strings are, you know, being played individually. Let's have a go at strumming it. Right. It does have a bit of shimmer, not much to it. Sustain wise, you know, I'll strum it and I'll indicate when I stop hearing it, because the microphone is obviously on an iPad is not really going to necessarily pick it up as well. So let's give it a go. Now, so I heard it for as long as that period of time. If you start doing, that's an open chord, you start playing raising the tension up a little bit, playing chords further up. Let's see. Now, so you know you've got a bit of sustain going on there. Look, guys, it's £60. It plays very easily. It's certainly you know, good enough for a beginner. I suppose a beginner to intermediate, depending on what your tastes are, what you're using it for. It's not it doesn't have a pickup or anything in. I've mic'd it up before. You really need to work on your EQ. You know, of course you do, because you'll hear a different sound from what you do through your ears. Now, what else is there to say about it, really? That is really it. You know, it's it came with a bag. They didn't have the vinyl, no padding or anything like that, but they didn't have one, so I was lucky enough to actually get this one, which is nice, decent padded one, which I don't think actually would come with that in your package. One thing I'd say, and I don't know if you're meant to do it or not, but there's a chap that whose website really helped me out, and I'd suggest you go and check him out. He's Baz at gotaukulele.com. Check him out. He's an educated, no nonsense chap who reviews loads and loads of instruments in great detail with authority, and he has his videos and his written reviews of instruments, but also he provides education and other subjects around ukuleles as well. So check him out, Baz at gotaukulele.com. So he really helped me out, and you know, doesn't even know I exist. Alright, that's all there is to really say about this thing. You know, it's a lovely little you can bash hell out of it, see how it sounds. Yeah, so I mean, plectrum with nice nails, you're going to get a slightly different sound. That's just my fingers working on it. It's light, you know, holding it here at the 12th fret. It's if anything, it's perhaps slightly body heavy, not much in it though. But it's absolutely fine for, you know, for a beginner or somebody that doesn't want to get a toy, wants to get a proper instrument, but doesn't want to break the bank in doing so. That is the Ashbury AU15 Tenor Ukulele in mahogany. Take care. I've noticed listening back to this on the iPad, it does not do it justice to actually how it sounds. So I've not really gone into a great deal of playing. I think it's sadly my recording of this is really not doing the sound much good at all. So there we have it.